All right, good evening. I call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Apache Junction. The date is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. The time is now 7 p.m. I invite you to stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Roll call. Rudy?
Commissioner Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Begeman.
Here.
Commissioner Cantwell.
Here.
Vice Chair Hanchey.
Here.
Chairman Heck.
Here.
Commissioner Cross.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
7 present. We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you, Rudy. All right, next item on the agenda is consideration of and approval for this evening's agenda, along with the minutes from the meeting of February 8th, 2022. Do I hear a motion to accept
Chair,
the agenda minutes? Yes.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission accept the agenda as presented and approve the minutes from the February 8th, 2022 regular meeting.
Very good. Thank you. I have a motion. I'll hear a second.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call. Rudy?
Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
Commissioner Barker.
Yes.
Commissioner Begeman.
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell.
Yes.
Vice Chair Hanchey.
Yes.
Chairman Heck.
Yes.
Commissioner Cross.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Thank you. All right, there's one public hearing scheduled for this evening. It's item 22-227. It's presentation, discussion, public hearing, and consideration of P2210PZ, a request by Axiom Care, represented by Andrew Lorenzen of Rose Law Group, PC, of a proposed plan development major amendment of the property at 150 North Ocotillo Drive, located north of the northwest corner of North Ocotillo Drive and Apache Trail, zone general commercial by plan development, in order to construct a new 3-story treatment facility. Kelsey.
Good evening, Commission members. My name is Kelsey Shatnick. I am a planner on staff, and tonight's presentation is a plan development major amendment request by Axiom Care. The subject property is located at 150 North Ocotillo Drive, which is just north of the northwest corner of Apache Trail and Ocotillo Drive. The current zoning on the property is general commercial by plan development, or B1PD, and the request is to amend the plan development on the property in order to construct a new 3-story treatment facility. In terms of the surrounding zoning, there are residential properties to the northwest and east of the subject site, and commercial properties to the south. Just to give a little bit of background information on the property, there are two buildings that are currently on the site. One was constructed in 1960 and it was defined as an office building by Pinal County. The second building was constructed in 1978 and is defined as a group care home. In 1996, the Superstition Mountain Mental Health Center, which was a lockdown facility for the seriously mentally ill, processed a rezoning on the property in order to expand their facility and to rectify a missing conditional use permit. This rezoning was approved under Ordinance 971, but the building was never constructed. And then in 2020 and 2021, Axiom Care, which is a substance abuse treatment facility, obtained a business license to operate on the property and submitted for a preliminary development review to expand their facility. And through this process, we let the applicant know that a PD amendment would be required. So here's an overview of the proposed site plan. So I've outlined in orange, I know it's kind of difficult to see, the 2 existing buildings on the property. The building to the north has currently 24 detox beds. And then the building kind of on the southeast end of the property provides admission to the detox center as well as staff administration offices. The new proposed 3-story treatment facility is located to the west of the existing offices. This new facility will provide an additional 24 beds, detox beds, and 36 residential treatment beds. These are the proposed elevations for the facility. Again, the structure is 3 stories and 38 feet in height. The modern design contains multiple material types such as stucco, stone veneer, and metal paneling. In addition to the new facility, they are also proposing a new monument sign to complement the new structure, as well as additional landscaping along Ocotillo Drive and updated landscaping throughout the site. As a part of this request, they're only requesting one deviation from the zoning ordinance. They're requesting a maximum building height of 38 feet. Currently in the B1 zoning district, a maximum height of 35 feet is the maximum. In terms of public input, a neighborhood meeting was held on January 25th, 2022 by the applicant. The full participation report was provided to you as a part of the staff report, but it's my understanding that they've had contact with two individuals. One just had general questions about the project, and then the second individual owns property to the south of this subject site and was just wondering if the expansion would impact their property. In addition, a sign was posted at the site. Notices were sent out to property owners within 300 feet, and the case was advertised in the newspaper. Staff has not received any comments or questions regarding this rezoning request. So with that, staff recommends approval of P-22-10-PZ, subject to the conditions of approval found in the staff report. This item is scheduled for a public hearing with City Council on May 3rd, 2022. That concludes my presentation for the evening. I'd be happy to answer any initial questions you may have. The applicant is here and they do have a presentation.
Chelsea, just one quick question, and whether you can, I'm sure you can answer it. So those two existing buildings,
Yes.
they will remain along with this new third building?
Yes.
There'll be
this-
three?
Yes, this third building will just add additional beds. So right now there are 24 beds, and in total with this new addition, there will be 84.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
84, okay. All right, those two existing buildings look pretty run down. Is there going to be some effort to
So one
rehab
of
them?
our,
I'm seeing a lot of heads moving back there, so that
Yeah.
could probably be something they could answer, but
so one of our conditions of approval is that they do update the two existing buildings to complement the new structure, because, you know, the new facility, you saw the elevations, it looks very nice, it looks very modern, so we would want to update those two buildings to kind of have a cohesive site.
right, okay.
Chair?
Yes, Chairman, or Commissioner?
Is there any, okay, the 35-foot height that we have in the regulations, is there any particular reason for that? I know in a previous community where I was on planning, we had a 35-foot height because that was as high as the fire department could service. So, do we have any such restrictions here?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not sure. Rudy, is there any particular reason why it's been limited to 35 feet?
Apache Junction General doesn't have too many tall building zoning districts. 35 is about as tall as we go in, actually GR, I think, allows up to 35 feet, and a couple of the commercial districts and the industrial districts also allow
There's
35
no
feet.
operational limitations to it.
It has to do more with architectural and accommodating your mechanical equipment and your ventilation and the stuff that goes between floors. Typically, you would need a little more than certainly a 30-foot building height, and I would defer to their architectural team for the specifics of that question.
Not a problem. I just ran into it before, and we wound up with a house that somebody built to 37 feet and has a nice 12-12 pitch up to 35 feet and then 4 feet of flat roof.
All right, any other questions? Commissioner
Yeah,
King?
I got one. Is this site currently served by the sewer district, or is there a sewer connection there?
I believe there is, yes. I would have to, I believe it is serviced by them.
It's in their report, Chelsea.
Okay, yeah, but then, yeah, they look beat.
Oh, I know.
I mean, they've been around for 30 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it is, but I couldn't find it. in
Yeah,
the-
It's in one of these reports,
is
I
it,
read
okay.
it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
They had water and sewer and
All the
one of
utilities.
the things that were all in the same paragraph. Just don't remember which paragraph it was.
Any other questions? No? Then I guess the applicant wishes to come up and give us some further details.
The page down? Okay, thank you. Okay, okay. Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I'm Thomas Galvin with Rose Law Group on behalf of Axiom Care. With me tonight is Dr. Mark Anderson, the COO, Christine Stevens, the CEO, and Vern Johnson. And we're all proud to present this application to you tonight. Axiom Care is one of the preeminent treatment facilities in the state of Arizona, and we're proud to show our plans for how we're going to better serve the community. And if you excuse me here, I'm going to see if I'm able to do this correctly. Yes, this application you're going to hear tonight is really about saving lives. Governor Ducey announced in 2017 a declaration of executive order of the opioid overdose epidemic. Last year, in 2021, 1,998 people died in Arizona from opioid overdoses. That's more than 5 people per day. Substance abuse and addiction are some of the biggest causes of chronic homelessness and incarceration in Arizona. Sorry. Let's see if I can go back here. Axiom is an innovator by utilizing a method called therapeutic community. This will make substance abuse treatment more accessible and effective. Axiom's therapeutic community is a groundbreaking new model of addiction treatment that aims to build upon decades of combined treatment experience while addressing the shortcomings of the traditional treatment model. Substance abuse treatment is effective. However, very few people can access professional programs, and many times the treatment is not effective. Axiom is an innovator by utilizing a method called therapeutic community. This will make substance abuse treatment more accessible and effective. Axiom's therapeutic community is a groundbreaking new model of a treatment addiction that aims to build upon decades of combined treatment experience while addressing the shortcomings of its traditional treatment model. This facility will provide a safer and sober community environment where patients can receive treatment and develop new healthy habits before transitioning to long-term housing. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to addiction, and each patient's interdisciplinary treatment team will provide individualized treatment based on the patient's specific needs. There's also widespread community support. Mayor Chip Wilson has expressed excitement for this location near a corridor where these services are much needed. Governor Doug Ducey has also provided his endorsement and support. We've also heard support from former Councilmember Braden Biggs, Arizona State Representative David Cook, and Pinal County Attorney Kent Volkmer. And if there's any other dignitaries or elected officials I've neglected to mention who've expressed support, I apologize to them, but we are very proud of this support. They all express that this type of facility in Pinal County is very much needed and long overdue to address the community's growing substance abuse problem. Now let's talk about the facility, the issue of parking. Axiom Care facility has unique parking requirements due to the nature of the clients that they serve with in the community. Staff, who's been very pleasant to work with, and we appreciate all of the hard work and diligence that they've done and all of the good questions that they've answered and the cooperation that they provided in putting together this application and their staff report tonight, which I think was very comprehensive. Their initial comments suggested parking calculations under hospital, which is 1.5 spaces per bed, which would require 126 spaces. However, Axiom Care's traffic analysis concluded that the proposed use is similar to what is a nursing home, and we're going to outline the reasons why. And staff agreed that Axiom's use resembles that of a nursing home, which would only require a maximum of 1 space for 3 beds. This would require the site to provide 28 parking spaces. And now, Axiom will be providing 41 spaces on the site plan. Staff has agreed that 41 spaces is ample parking for the proposed expansion. In April 2020, Axiom Care began operating on this site. The larger existing building in the north end currently holds 24 beds, as you heard earlier tonight from staff. This is medical subacute detox facility, which medically supervises patients as they detox. The smaller existing building is currently used for admissions and for staff offices. The new 3-story building will provide another 24 beds for the detox program and 36 residential treatment beds, which brings the total to 84 beds in the entire site. The amendment is required for the new building location, allowing an increased building height from 35 feet to only 3 feet more, 38 feet, and a reduction in the required on-site parking calculation similar to that of a nursing home. This is in conformance with codes and general plan. The site was designated by the city's general plan as commercial. This 2-acre site is privately owned, surrounded by commercial property to the south and residentially zoned land west, north, and east. The applicant is only requesting a minimal height increase from 35 feet to 38 feet. As you heard tonight, we had neighborhood meetings, we sent out letters, we provided the public notices that were necessary. There was no public input received to date. The criteria for a planning PD request. 1, better design can be achieved with a PD overlay. An effective treatment facility cannot be achieved with strict zoning development standards that are applied. Proposed building height is necessary to construct a facility to provide this therapeutic community methods. The increased ceiling height is a benefit for the patients. The patients will be staying from 45 to 60 days. No personal vehicles are allowed on site for more than 24 hours. The patients usually arrive by medical Uber. In fact, we have seen that 95% of our patients arrive through the medical Uber. Due to the increased need for services, we will be able to go from taking care of 24 to 84 patients. There's only one company vehicle. 41 spaces are adequate. Second criteria, adherence to strict provisions of the zoning district not required in order to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the inhabitants of the development. This is, variances are for location, ceiling height, and parking. Deviations will not pose any danger, but will ensure the health, safety, and well-being of Axiom's patients and staff. These deviations are necessary for this use. The third criteria, adherence to strict provisions of the zoning district not required in order to ensure property values of adjacent properties will not be impacted. Adjacent properties are either commercial or mobile home parks. Axiom Care will provide new jobs and vital help for the community that is desperately needed at this time. There is no change in use on the property. The granting of variances will allow Axiom Care to construct and deliver first-class facility that will enhance value in the area. The expansion of this use will not negatively impact the adjacent properties. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I have one question starting off, related to the parking. I don't think I read anything anywhere in all of the material that talked about visitors. Are visitors permitted to come to the?
I'm going to ask one of them to come up here and talk about the operational aspects of the treatment.
All right, because that could affect parking.
The CEO will answer your question.
All right, I like CEOs. They're good.
Hello, everybody. My name is Christine Stevens. So there may be a visitation period that would happen on a Sunday. Would probably run from 1 to 2 for a number of the people that are in the residential portion. So there's a 36-bed residential. And we would want families to be able to come and see their loved ones while we're there. But what we're going to do is we're going to have it, we'll have 12, one pod, if you will, can have their visits for 1 hour, and then they'll leave, and then another hour, and another hour. So we would never have, an influx of people coming in all at once. And in a current facility that we already have, we have the same thing. It's a 24-bed facility, and we usually get maybe 2 or 3 family members that come for those 24.
Okay.
So it's not a big number.
Okay. Another question, again, related to parking. So I assume that there will be handicapped or just parking for disabled
Sure.
on the site, and is that part of the 41 spaces?
It is.
Okay, all right,
Yes, so we will be ADA compliant.
good, thank you, okay.
Chair,
Yes,
related to the parking, how about staff parking?
Yeah, so the staff parking, we have the 24-bed Detox is there right now, and I wish I should have looked at the parking study before, because we had a company come out and do an independent parking study, and we did our own parking count over 3 different days. And I think the most that we had for that 24-bed was like 11. And that was when, the doctor will come on site each day to do like a medication follow-up, that type of thing, but it's just one doctor, so that might go up to 2. But we really ran the numbers back and forth, and 41 is more than enough to handle.
How much staff do you have on site on a typical day?
Per shift or for the 24 hours? Because it's
Per
a
shift.
24-hour.
Yeah.
So on the daytime shift, which would be the highest number, obviously, we have 2 nurses, we have 3 techs, we have 1 admin person, so 6, and then we would have the doctors that would come on site and those type of things. We might have a psychiatrist that'll come for a while, and then a medical doctor that would come.
but don't you have food and beverage or food
Oh,
prep
right, yes,
staff?
you're
and
right, we have a cook.
Housekeeper, do you have housekeepers?
We have one cook, and we
Okay.
have a housekeeper, so you're right.
Okay.
I should have looked at this before.
And they make, and they prepare 3 meals a day for you?
They do. We have a commercial kitchen in that main building,
Right.
and 3 meals are cooked each day. So we have 2 cooks that come on, but they're not on at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I think the most we ever had at one time, and that was with everybody, was 11. So that was the regular staff members plus the people who would come on site to do like per diem work.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so when you put in this new facility, then how does that increase?
Well, if we just double the detox, right? So then that would get us up to 22 if we just did it again, even though we won't have to do the kitchen, because there will be only 1 kitchen, and there will be only 1 housekeeper, potentially. We may have 1.5 housekeepers. And so if we just doubled it and went to 22, doubling everybody, and then we have the 36-bed residential. At our 24-bed residential, we have 2 counselors, a therapist, and 2 techs that would be on. So that would be 5 people. So if we upped that to 7, that would be 22 plus 9, which would be 31. So every way that we worked it with, because we want to have enough parking, obviously, for everybody. We have plenty of parking spaces for what we're doing.
Mr. Chair?
Yep. Commissioner.
As I'm looking at your diagram, which I'm really glad to see something happening there, by the way, but as I'm looking at it, I have a concern about lighting for this back parking. If you've got visitors or staff walking out that back way with all the trees and the shrubbery that's around there, and what kind, I don't see anywhere on any of the diagrams where we see what kind of lighting is going in there.
Yeah, and that's actually a really great question. I can't answer that for you. I can tell you that whatever we need to do to have safe lighting, we are going to do. We definitely don't want, the drive is going to be an in and out.
Right, I
Right, so
see.
you're going to have to go all the way to the back
Right,
to get
and
out. It's
that was
like
what
that
was
now.
concerning me,
It's
right.
just that you have 2, when you come in the interior, you can go 2 ways around some parking to come back out. And we haven't had any issues with lighting at this point, but anything that we need to put in, we definitely would.
Yeah, Mr. Chair and Ms. Barker, I just want to point that out, that we've not had any issues with the lighting currently. As you can see, there's going to be significant landscaping there. There's a wall there to surround the property, also for the security of the patients that are there as well. And then obviously, if it ever turns out that lighting is a concern, that is something we would immediately address, but I don't anticipate any problem at all whatsoever with the lighting, especially in light of the fact that it's not there right now as a
Well,
problem.
I'm kind of hoping that the back of the building, yeah, that would be the rear of the building, has some lighting going out in the parking lot. I've parked over there before at night, and it's not real light. And so I'm kind of hoping maybe there's some floods or something coming off the back just to illuminate that area so that you don't have any problems.
Well, and when we first got there, we replaced all the lights with LED lights.
And they probably weren't
And they-
doing
so
real
they may
well the
not have
last
been
time I
working,
was
but
there.
When we got there, we had them all
Okay, I
replaced with
haven't
LED
been
lights.
there lately, so thank you very much.
Of course.
I have a
Remember,
question.
it has to be dark sky compliant.
Right.
Yeah, but I would really like to be able to see my hand in front of my face. No offense, folks. Dark sky compliant is great when you're 20, but when you're not 20 anymore, it ceases to be so great.
I will say we'd rather be good neighbors and not do.
Yeah, you don't want to
Right,
shine into
right,
people's,
yeah.
And we can always adjust it the other way.
yeah.
Right.
Another question, I believe there's nowhere in this that this is not a secured facility at all. So we're not worried about people that are getting out of a locked unit or anything.
No, sir.
Okay. So the patients, the folks that are there, if they want to leave, they can up and leave.
It's a voluntary program.
Voluntary program, okay,
Yes.
all right, okay.
I like it.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Commissioner Cantwell?
As I was reading the information, it sounds like the detox program is like 1 or 2 weeks, and then the residential is perhaps 90 days.
Yeah, so detox is generally a 5 to 7 day episode. And then people from the detox would move into a residential level of care, which is the next level of care. When people leave detox today, because we don't have residential, we work with the other residential treatment providers in the area, and then they step down into that level of care. And it can be anywhere from 30 to, I mean, we don't really see 90 days, maybe 70, and it's based on medical necessity. That's worked out with the insurance company.
Because I see you having 48 detox beds now and 36 residential, even though the residential is going to be there a lot more, so I would expect kind of at least the reverse.
Yes.
What happens when the residential folks are filled up? They go to
Yeah.
other facilities?
Same thing that we do right now, because we don't have any residential. We transfer them, because everybody gets a discharge plan upon arrival. We start working on their discharge plan the day they get there, like, that's one of the first meetings we have. And when it's time for them to discharge, we also medically Uber them to the next facility. So we would just continue once our residential is full, and we have that other 24 bed that we fill from the detox right now. So once the 36 and the 24, we'd have 60 residential beds. We would just continue to send them to other residential treatment providers. And there's several of them in the East Valley. So we have a good relationship.
My experience with the whole rehab has been, it works occasionally, but then, you also have a lot of people who have been through rehab 5 or 6 times. Is there anything particular in your program where you're having similar success to what everybody else is? Are you having better success?
I mean, I could answer that any number of different ways.
Yes.
But what I'm gonna say is, meeting somebody with substance use disorder where they're at, and then doing everything we can to ensure that they go through the levels of care to get all of the help and the tools that they need to make a good decision when they leave a primary episode of treatment. That's really all treatment providers can do, right? Sober living is a big piece of that. We're sober living advocates, so we have sober livings, and we work with all kinds of other sober livings so that people can go practice those tools that they've learned. Are we better than others? I mean, I like to think that our staff, is exceptional and that they really care about this population, and each person has their own reason for working in this profession. It's not an easy one to work in. And we do our best. We use all evidence-based treatment curriculum and practices, and just not everybody that comes to treatment it's going to be the last time they use. Relapse is a part of recovery. We're big proponents of all the 12 steps, Celebrate Recovery, whatever those programs are. We have those volunteers are coming in even to the detox, so they're there for 6 hours and they're going to a meeting already. So.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is getting them to change their
Chairman?
social environment.
Long-term, absolutely.
Chairman, point of order.
Yep.
We're not here to discuss how their treatment plan works
Okay.
or how well it works. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair, I have a question.
Yep, Commissioner.
Do we have any preliminary drawings of what the old buildings will look like
When they're done.
when they're done?
So we're gonna reface them to look like the new building.
But do we have any kind of?
No, we haven't.
Proposed?
The building you saw tonight, they're gonna look similar to that, so
Yeah.
that's the representation and conceptual of how they will look.
I assume that'll be inside as well, because when I drove around, it looks like the inside of the building needs a little sprucing up as well. Okay.
Are you
Okay.
gonna shut down during this construction period, or?
We don't plan to.
Am I correct that you could do intake for anyone 24 hours, 24/7? You do that? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the things I think that makes it helpful, is that people have somewhere to go at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
For some reason, addicts and alcoholics tend to want to get help at that hour, so they need to have a place to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good, okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I have one
Yeah, one more, I'm sorry.
How do you
Okay.
plan to re-renovate the inside with patients there?
Well, so the inside of the detox building has been renovated. The inside of the admissions building is going to get some work, some newer flooring. We did like one half of it. new windows, those kinds of things, because it's got the old windows on that outpatient building. So we haven't really drawn up the plans yet. But we are definitely taking care of it. The detox building has been all remodeled inside, as much as you can with a building that has concrete walls every so many feet that are like this thick, and a ceiling. It's an interesting building. But it looks really good inside. You're welcome.
Right. Well, that's ultimately what counts, so.
Yes.
okay. All right, very good, thank you. All right, any other questions from the commission?
No.
All right, having none,
Mr. Chair,
Alan.
members, thank you for your good questions. Thank you.
you're very welcome. All right, so this is a public hearing. Members of the public have the opportunity to speak on this matter. Clarify statements from the public must be related to this case and no other. When recognized by the chair, please come down to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and then present your statement. Please make certain to speak into the microphone, and there is a 5-minute time limit for each speaker. And Mr. Schroeder, sorry.
I'm not an expert, but my name is George Schroeder, 2444 West Virginia Street. I do have a lot of experience in this arena, both pro and con with drugs, with people who have done drugs, got off of drugs. So I like Mr. Begeman's question. We're not here to describe and talk about all the stuff that they're going to do. But we do have to ask some security questions, staff questions. Do we have inside security, on-site security? Do we have any nurses, any professional help on premises? There's no gates. I've lived in this area 40 years. I've seen every drug addict on the streets there is. I've had to sleep by them in the tunnels. 4 times I've been homeless. Not because I was doing drugs or alcohol, but because me and society just don't see eye to eye. This is one of them. If you've heard me at city council meetings, I am probably the biggest proponent of needing help for these people. I've been forcefully asking the managers, find money for this. Well, this is one such opportunity. I don't think that this is 100%, but it's what we got. It's what we're being offered. The lighting needs to be way up. This is a security problem right off the bat there. We have people hanging and living on the streets, not just Ocotillo, not just a water facility. We can get water. If somebody comes to get water, you got a county water facility right next door. They come and they want to get water too for their little sacks, whatever, for free. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. So Sabaro, Palo Verde, Delaware, the whole area is just a dead zone with people with problems, those kind of problems, all the above. We haven't had anywhere near the attention because, we have a lot of apathy, not empathy in our neighborhoods. Sorry. No, that's somebody else's problem. We don't want to take money from this for that. I don't know what they're offering to change that would be any different than any other facility. My experience is that the percentage is low of the successful participants, very low. But they move on because they're forced to, because it didn't work here, so we gotta move down the road to another one. But again, we need to know what are they prepared for? Are they prepared for the worst? Are they prepared for somebody dying that they didn't know did drugs? They went in there and right there. I worked as a lieutenant at San Jose Behavioral Health Center for almost 6 months. I had to write up the post orders. I had to take people down. Are they prepared for that? What if they hurt somebody? What if they bring in a gun? I hope you're hearing my concerns, because these are real. It's way more real than what they're telling you. They're getting money. It's their game. but it's on the whole, it's a no-win game. And there's no 100% answer here. I just know that I'm very vested in this. I'm putting money in my house, a lot of money, $200,000 in my house. For what? So I can live next to a bunch of drug addicts? And people just making money, just going through the mill, the drug mill? They're not alone. There's thousands of them, and they care less about the people. I know they're going to give you a good show. They say good. They mean well. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're still going to have the drug problem in my neighborhood. This is Heroin Alley, Saguaro, Palo Verde, Delaware, Ocotillo. This is Heroin Alley. I know these people. I've dealt with them. I put some of them behind bars. So I ask you very nicely, this is not the right neighborhood. We need to break the cycle of this endless gutter of money dropping, people endlessly doing drugs. We had one, Mr. Fox, 30 years on Ocotillo, 2 times in jail. They didn't do anything to him. The cops were protecting him. This is this neighborhood. I'm telling you, what these people is not 100%. We really need to dig in on this and make our needs known, not just how good it sounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to give testimony in this case? All right, seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. This is an opportunity for any discussion amongst the commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, did you want to ask Commissioner Cross if he had any questions of the applicants or had any comments to make before we forget about him?
Yeah, Commissioner Cross, wherever you are, do you have any questions, any comments?
Well, for the record, I'm in Flagstaff at a hotel because work is keeping me up here for the entire week. Comments regarding this project. I know there's a 35-foot building restriction in that area, and they're only asking for 38 feet, and that's so that they can be able to provide a 10-foot ceiling space within each patient room. And I know this to be a true thing. I've been doing a lot of construction over the numerous years, and it's always required to have a minimum of 10 foot for patient rooms in the medical field. It's very well known in that regards. It sounds like the Axiom has done a thorough investigation regarding the parking, and it sounds like they've come up with basically through their studies that the parking that they're going to provide will be more than adequate to service their needs. The one audience participation from Mr. Schroeder regarding security, it sounds like that is a concern. I think that, I would assume that because they've been working as a rehab facility with a limited number of beds for a numerous number of years, that security was a huge concern, that they would have already addressed that. But maybe that is something that they should look into a little bit further as they expand and become a larger facility. I know our community desperately needs more facilities for rehab, but we do have a major influx, and we'll continue to have a major influx of substance abuse, especially with the type of drugs that are out there on the street right now and how addictive they are. So I see this as definitely being a benefit to our community. So those are just, I guess, the only issues or concerns or statements that I have. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Cross. All right, any other commission members, any other comments, any other observations?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm still a little concerned on the sewer connection. The original buildings were built before there was a sewer system. And I just don't know. And if there isn't a connection, then they're on a septic system that needs to be looked at as to how big it is with this expansion.
Wait, if we do this now, we have to reopen, do we need to reopen the public hearing?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, okay, so, well, we'll do this, and we'll reopen the public hearing, and you're free to speak, and then if we want to have another public hearing, so,
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to get up just to quickly answer those two very good pertinent questions. But one, for security, we have a 24-hour awake staff, so there's always people, on site to make sure that everything's safe and secure. And two, we are in a sewer system.
So you are connected?
Yes, we are. Thank you.
very good.
Mr. Chair, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Right, it's a public hearing, if anyone wishes to speak. Okay, thank you, then public hearing is now closed. And again, I will offer up to any commissioners if you wish to, any discussion. If not, then I will look to hear for a motion on case P-22-10.
Do we want to go through the facts?
Oh, I'm sorry, oops, sorry about that. I was jumping the gun on that. Okay, so yeah, we have the findings of fact, I'm sorry, yes.
First one, that a better design cannot be achieved by applying the strict provisions of underlining zoning district. We all agree?
Yep,
We all concur?
yep.
Number two, the strict adherence to the provisions of zoning ordinance is not required in order to ensure health, safety, welfare of the inhabitants of the proposed development. That was a mouthful for me.
Yeah, I agree.
We all agree?
Yep.
All right. Number three, that strict adherence to the ordinance is not required to ensure that property values of adjacent properties will not be reduced.
Agree.
We all concur.
We're okay there?
All right. That is it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair Hanchey. All right, now I will await a motion on case P-22-10-PZ.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Barker.
before I make this, Joel, do I have to read each condition, or can I note them by number?
You could just note them by number as presented in the staff report.
Okay, thank you. I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Apache Junction City Council the approval of case P-22-10-PZ, a plan development major amendment request by Axiom Care, represented by Andrew Lorenzen of Rose Law Group, PC, I apologize, to amend the plan development on the property at 150 North Ocotillo Drive in order to construct a new 3-story treatment facility located north of the northwest corner of Apache Trail and Ocotillo Drive, subject to the amendments to the conditions of approval that are listed in the staff report dated April 12, 2022.
Very good.
Second.
Thank you. And a motion and a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, Rudy, roll call?
Commissioner Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Begeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hanchey,
Yes.
Chairman Heck.
Yes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Your recommendation of approval will go forward to City Council at their meeting on May 3rd? May 3rd.
Very good. Thank you. All right, and we'll move on from there. Old business, there's no old business scheduled for this evening. New business, there's also no new business scheduled. Information reports, the chair has no information for the members. Director's report, Rudy?
None this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Just a minor thing. Our development fees are moving forward. We're on schedule. We had a presentation, our consultant did a presentation to the council last week as well as to the stakeholders. We believe that the stakeholders are in agreement with our proposed fees, and we hope for a smooth process and hope to have the new fees adopted in August and in effect by October.
Very good. Thank you. All right, selection of meeting dates, times, locations, and purpose. I have a motion?
Chair, I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission hold a regular meeting on April 26, 2022, at 7 p.m. located in the City Council chambers located at 300 East Superstition Boulevard. In the event there are no items to be brought forward to this commission, the meeting may be canceled, notification of cancellation properly posted, and the commission notified by staff.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion. I have a second. Roll call. Rudy?
Chairman Heck,
Yes.
Commissioner Cross,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Begeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Cantwell,
Yes.
Vice Chair Hanchey.
Yet.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Very good, thank you. Meeting adjourned.